Right, can you hear me? Put your hands up. Hello. Well, welcome to today's masterclass. Welcome to the OMR 2024. We are Kleinanzeigen and JustRelate, and we are very happy to have you all here today to tell you something about email marketing. Before we start, we have a short technical advice for you from our technical directors. Please keep your handhelds in your hand so you can adjust the volume. And it also has an influence on the reception. If you should put it away, you might not hear us. Anyway, let's get going. Well, before we start, we quickly like to introduce ourselves. I'll start. My name is Philip. I'm a senior consultant at JustRelate Group when it comes to complex enterprise web solutions. And yeah, we are glad to have you all here, and hopefully all of you should be set soon.
Hi everybody, I'm really happy to be with you today. I'm Nicolas, so I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for JustRelate France and Dartagnen specifically.
Hello everybody, I'm Elsa. I'm leading the CRM team at Kleinanzeigen, so I will have the chance to walk you through our case study today.
And I'm Thomas, General Manager at JustRelate France. I'm also one of the founders of Dartagnen, so I'm the tech guy of Dartagnen. So if you have any questions around email, I should be the one that can answer those questions.
Well, let's get going. Before we start, I'd like to give you a quick introduction of who you are, to give you a better understanding what we do, how we approach things, how we see digital experience, online marketing, especially email marketing. Yeah, we are JustRelate. You might not have heard of us. We are a fairly new group. We are based in Berlin, focusing on enterprise solutions. We follow a strictly customer-centric approach. That means all our actions are always built around customer experiences. And what that means is that we always work backwards from our customers. So we look at our clients, we look at who we want to talk to, and how we can orchestrate the technology around it in order to seamlessly integrate communication flows and make it possible to have a good experience on one hand for your clients and customers in the way they communicate with you, but also be able to, for you to be handling all the correspondences seamlessly within your systems and use the capabilities you already have and you might want to use in order to deliver from the first touch to the very end a very good experience and easy way to do that. What do I mean by that? Well, the way we work and orchestrate our software offerings is that we want to enable you to actually do your day-to-day business in a way that you're not dependent on third parties, such as agencies or developers. So imagining if you have to create an email marketing campaign and you might want to need a landing page for that, where someone puts data in and you might want to process this data and follow it up maybe in an automated campaign, a marketing campaign. And all these things need to be set up. Usually you need an agency, a developer, or someone else for you to do that. But we think it should be the marketeers, the people who are working on it day to day, who are able to do that and should be able to do that by themselves. And this is exactly what we do with our offering. When we do that, we cluster our services, our offerings in three important areas. One is build, the other one is retain and engage. And within these areas, we have a customer experience cloud, which offers you a different set of services that can be used on their own, but also integrate in existing IT landscapes and seamlessly integrate with them. One of you we are going to show you today is Dartagnen, is our email templating builder, which can deliver extraordinary results, as you will see soon. We also have a CMS system called Scrivito at enterprise scale, which connects seamlessly and allows you to work worldwide together. In order to orchestrate all these systems, we have a portal function that you can connect to your existing services and IT landscape as well as other services, but all set around the customer. So the idea is that if you are in touch with your client base, your target group, that they don't really fall above hurdles, so that you can always communicate in a seamless, integrated way. In the terms of engagement, we offer an automated system, like a marketing automation tool, which then enhances your capability of designing as well as the end-to-end communication. We have a CRM system and a configure price quote system, which then enables you to work with the customer data you get. But how do you deploy, from our perspective, a holistic digital experience? Well, it all starts with a view that is more or less always the same, and the idea of digitalization. The idea of digitalization, all of us have heard it, it's kind of a buzzword. And I'm sure all of you have an understanding of what it means, but I'm quite sure that not all the pictures of what we understand of it are the same. Actually, the understanding is quite vague. And it all derives from the perspective and experiences that you've individually made and the status quo you find yourself in. So you all work for a company that has a certain tool set, certain dependencies, and it is more or less difficult to find the way forward. So what is the right architecture? What is the right way to orchestrate that? And it's quite confusing and difficult. So our approach is to step back, to elevate ourselves, to have a strategic view on what's happening, where you are, where you want to go, what you want to achieve, and then find the right ways and solutions to do so. But it always comes back to the user, to the people you want to talk to. So it's very important to be clear about your target audiences, to be clear about the people you want to talk to, the personas, the roles they actually fulfill, and the information they need. What do I mean by that? Imagining a school. Your target audience is a school. Well, that's just a shell. But who's actually working in the school, or who's in the school? There's the headmasters, the headmistress, the teachers, the pupil. The teachers have different subjects. Do they all need the same information? I don't think they do. So it's important to deliver the right information to the right people at the right time. It's about relevance. It's about accuracy. And this is actually the most important thing when it comes to holistic digital experiences, especially when it comes to email marketing. But I will get back to that in a minute. So be clear about the people you want to address, and be sure that these people get the right information at the right time. There's nothing worse than triggering information to someone who's maybe already using your products or services with information for someone who's first got in touch with you. That can destroy customer relationships instantly. So be sure that you understand what the people are needing and what they're needing at a certain time in order to be able to deliver that. And also be aware of the journeys. What do I mean by that? The journeys they perform when they're in touch with you. From the first moment they interact with you to the very last, or the recommendation phase. There are multiple touch points where they interact with you and where they need a set of information in order to perceive and to make the next step. And then create, or be able to create and use your data in a way that you can trigger these informations and deliver them in the right possible way. But let's talk about the solution. The solution is basically that you use your capability, your data, your idea in order to make that possible, to unify this information. And if you want to know more about this in general, how that's possible, the architecture behind it, the software principles behind it, feel free to visit us in Hall 3, booth F12 and 13. I'm very glad to tell you more about that if you visit us. Also, all of you who are here today, you're very warmly welcome to our conference. We have a conference, a digital experience conference in Berlin on the 3rd and 4th of June. And all of you will get an invitation on the way out later on. So, coming back, wrapping up the idea of what I just said. It shouldn't be important which device you use. If you're using a telephone, if you're using maybe a personal contact, or if you're using your iPhone or your navigation system on the car, if it's connected to your infrastructure and important, all the experiences should lead across channels to the same result. The communication should be seamless, giving information in and out. And this is exactly what we do with your services and software architecture you already have, and with modern new solutions in order to enhance this experience. But you're all here not to talk about digital experiences, but talk about a specific digital experience, and that's email marketing. And email for me is a bit like digitalization. It's something which has been around, and it's been around for some time, and it's been, yeah, in our heads for some time. But it's been the replacement for the traditional handwritten letter originally. So it's basically a one-to-one communication idea behind it. But is it still that? No, certainly not. It is still the most important digital marketing channel we have, but it is still also the most used channel we have. What does that mean? Well, all of us have email inboxes, at least one, maybe two, privately, business-wise, and it's full of irrelevant emails, sometimes spam. Most of us are annoyed by a couple of emails they get every day. So in order to be good and to master email marketing, it's important to, again, look at it from a different perspective, to get an understanding of how to become relevant and how to deliver personalized information, the right content at the right time to the right person. And this is exactly what it comes down to. So when we talk about email marketing, it is again vital to elevate ourselves, to look at it from a different level. You have to think about automation, how email marketing fits in an automated process. It is important that you think about the people you want to address. That's what I said before, that you get an understanding who you want to talk to, what information might be necessary in order to move and proceed to the next step. And in collaboration with that, it becomes vital that you have the capability to address this content, to make it available, to be fast, to create it and process this information. So if you need pictures, if you need new templates, if you need to create a new message, you need to be able to do that without having to, for example, needing a developer or an agency that leaves and loses time for you. And also be sure that you get an insight of what you're doing, that you can analyze it, that you could get the statistics right, do A/B tests and know what's working and what's not in order to optimize the message. And make sure that it is seamless across channels. Use transactional functionality. Email is just not one-to-one or a mass communication tool anymore. It is able to process all the customer data you have in an automated way that can hyper-personalize the content and information available that you already have. Compliance and deliverability is just a topic. It's important that we have it in mind. It's there, especially in the European Union, it's there and it changes all the time. It's nothing to be afraid of, but it's something you need to have on the radar and you have to check frequently in order to be compliant. And make sure that your architecture and your email marketing campaigns are integrated seamlessly in your systems, your current systems, and your maybe new tools you might want to use in order to be able to make it easy for you to get the right relevant information out. Well, this sounds all complicated, but this is not why we're here for today. I can assure you that. And I'm very happy that I can now give the word to Thomas, who's going to show you how you can probably do that 10 times more effectively than you already have, and show you a very easy way to create powerful, great emails and bring them to market in a very fast, effective way.
Thank you, Philip. One of the first point to have in mind is that email is not the same old boring way to communicate with your users. And this is an example to open your mind about Dior. It's called the Gift Finder. It's an example of how you can still target user even on data you don't have. So this is basically a quiz based on few questions, and depending on the way the customer answers those questions, he will have a selection of product that will depend on what the user have clicked on. It's also interesting to see that during the navigation process, there's animation, there's action from the users, there's click, there's interaction, things move. You can, once you've answered the questions, you can zoom in, zoom out on product, which is especially interesting when you work on luxury. You can also play video directly inside the email player, which is also something very interesting for those type of subjects. So yeah, the goal for today is mostly to open your mind and understand that email is not just the old boring medium. And I hand over to Nicolas for the next steps.
Thank you, Thomas. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Yeah, but let's start at the beginning with a simple question. Why email marketing? You know, it's about 20 years I've been working in email marketing, and I would say that it's about 20 years I can hear that email marketing is dead. But the fact that is that email is not dead. Not only email is not dead, but it is more than ever one of the best channels you have in your marketing mix. So why? Let's have a look at some figures that show that email marketing is really at the heart of your strategy, digital strategy. So the first reason why email is important is simply because email is appreciated by consumers. 90% of businesses say that email marketing is really important in their company's overall success. On the consumer side, 55% of them say that email is their preferred digital channel for business communication. And if we talk about B2B, then 59% of B2B marketers say that email is the best channel to generate leads. Second reason, of course, business reason, email is really efficient. Only last year, so in 2023, more than $11 billion have been generated through email. And it generates business, but it is also profitable. Costs are under control for many years now, and the statistic of last year is that for $1 spent, you get $36 of revenue. Last but not least, of course, email is a business channel, but not only. And this is why email is crucial in your strategy. Because email is also a channel that allows you to maintain a close contact with your customers and your potential clients. 61% of subscribers say they would like to receive more than one promotional email every week. 80% of business professionals say that email is really important and increases customer retention. And 60% of consumers say they purchased just after receiving this promotional email. So, email is strategic, check. But the first consequence is that marketing teams need to capitalize on this channel. So as a consequence, they have an increasingly high volumes of emails to manage, but they suffer from pain points. And no doubt that the first one is about productivity. Whereas they have a lot of emails to produce, triggers, commercial emails, newsletters, and so on, it takes ages to produce just one email, several weeks. With the first consequence, they lose time, money, and they have a bad time to market. There are other pain points, Thomas.
Yeah. Thank you, Nicolas. There's also a bunch of pain points you can experience as an international brand. The first one, even if it's still something that can last forever, it's the lack of responsiveness. Email change a lot, and email client change a lot also. So you always have to be at the top of the technical point of view of your emails, and it's something that is very complicated. The lack of responsiveness can also lead to lower performances, which is a pain. As Nicolas said, email is something that is very profitable, but if you lose some technical point of view on your email, then you can lose some points on your return on investment. Sorry. Every of those points, most of the time, rely on the lack of quality. Whether it's accessibility, your users cannot navigate through your email. Deliverability, so it's often linked to bad code or badly written emails, and so on and so forth. You can have issues like with email cropped on Gmail, and so on and so forth. All of those points will result in a degraded brand image. It's something that is, from my point of view, a bit too left alone. The thing is, one user can have a really bad perception of your email, of your brand, sorry, if he cannot, let's say, click on one link on the email, or if he cannot find quickly the unsubscribe link, and so on and so forth. So things can go pretty quickly in terms of brand image. And overall, this can lead also to lower engagement rate, because if the perception of the brand is bad, the engagement will be lower. This is how Dartagnen will tackle those points from different point of view. So the first one is that Dartagnen is a SaaS solution, a no-code solution, that will allow you to create fully compatible emails with every email client, with every router, and so on and so forth, that will stick to the market standards, and that will provide also an expert's support. The first point is we will allow you to create marketing emails within minutes, and I'm not making a commercial speech saying within minutes. You can really create one email in minutes. And you can also increase your efficiency. That will allow you to shorten the time to market. One of the main struggle we face when we create marketing emails is, let's say, I want to be sure that my prices are right just a few minutes before sending the mail. I want to fix some wording just 3 minutes before sending the mail, and so on and so forth. So if you can do that by yourself, then the time to market is shortened, the quality is better, and so on and so forth. This is another point. The interface of Dartagnen is something very simple, based on drag and drop and so on. It's basically, if you know how to use PowerPoint, you know how to use Dartagnen, so you know how to create nice emails. One example of emails, but we will talk about that later on. It's Lacoste, one of our users. They can create really eye-catching email, really simple design, and very quickly. Another brand, Club Med, more complex layout, but still they are very advanced in terms of feature. They use video, they use background images, so on and so forth. We will talk about that later on. Nicolas, sorry.
Compatibility. Why compatibility is so important in email? The reason is quite simple, actually. The technical ecosystem of email is quite complex. You have so many smartphones on the market with so many screen sizes. You have several operating systems. You have so many webmails, and each webmail has its own rules, and it changes all the time. So the thing is that when you send an email from your marketing automation tool, what's happening is that you have more than 12,000 possibilities in a reception. So it's quite important for you to make sure that your emails will be well displayed, whatever the situation. But it's also sure that you do not have to manage this kind of issues. So that's why a builder like Dartagnen is going to really help you to avoid being in charge of all those problems, let's say. Very quick. So yeah, of course, for you it's important because you will be able to increase the customer experience, and it's important for you to propose the best customer experience. And of course, this is quite logic if your messages, if your emails are well displayed. So mathematically, performances will be better. Very quickly regarding Dartagnen, of course, we are a no-code SaaS tool, as Thomas was saying, but of course we are next. So the goal for you is to be autonomous, to build your email, to build high-end emails very quickly and easily. But we are next to you, of course, to help you when needed, to advise you, but also to challenge you. The ultimate goal is to increase the quality of your communications because you know why it's question of image, brand image and business. Yeah, as a market standard, we're happy to work with a lot of clients, but what is interesting here is that we work with every verticals. From the luxury to tourism and bank insurance. And most of the time, actually, what we see when we're talking with a potential client is that they suffer from the same pain points. And that's why Dartagnen is really appreciated. Yeah, and of course, all over the world, same issues as well. So just to sum up, keep in mind, you really can improve your email strategy with having better production capabilities, of course, saving costs as well, having a better time to market, this is really crucial, and of course, offering your customers the best customer experience. I guess this is why Elsa from Kleinanzeigen, I did it. We decided to work together, and that's we're going to talk about right now.
Thank you very much, Nicolas. So, everybody, I'm Elsa from Kleinanzeigen. I'm leading the CRM team, and I do. Oh, sorry.
Just a word to present the context. So, yeah, the goal is to talk about how we work together to address the challenge of Kleinanzeigen email strategy. And for this, we will have 4 parts. Elsa, you will talk about Kleinanzeigen, and then we will talk about the context of collaboration before talking about how we deploy the new email graphic charter, and how we improved your email processes. We can start now.
Definitely, that's what we're going to do right now. And for that, I would like to spend a few sec first talking about Kleinanzeigen. Because I do assume that you've heard about us, maybe. I see a few nodding faces, so yeah, we got a few people knowing Kleinanzeigen. We used to have another name not that long ago. Now, since May last year, we're just named Kleinanzeigen, but we already have an aided awareness over 90% in Germany. So I assume there is most likely, let's say 20 people in the room that do not know us. Yep. We have maybe people from Hamburg here, so I would assume you know us best because you're kind of number 2 in our, no, you're not. You're Hamburg? Okay, so you're number 2 in our favorite city in terms of most ad posted. If there are other Berlin's people in the room, other than I, yeah, I see, thank you. Thank you. So I got a few people in here, then we are the number 1 in terms of posting. But what I'm trying to say is that Kleinanzeigen is used all over in Germany, and we're not alone. What I mean with we're not alone is that we belong to a bigger group. This bigger group you're maybe less familiar with. It's Adventa. So I see less nodding faces, so, and this is relevant for the rest of the story. So just for you to understand the context we are working on in, and yeah, or we do evolve actually, because I guess maybe some of you also are part of a bigger group. And Adventa is the leading online classified group. Our aim is to champion sustainable commerce, so a big focus on re-commerce, but mainly on creating opportunities. So this is declined over 25 different marketplaces. in 10 different countries, mainly in Europe. As you can see, in very various areas. So we have Mobile.de. For the people from Germany, it might be known as the biggest marketplace for mobility, but we also have focus on rentals, on holiday rentals, on jobs, so really different things in different area. And the focus stays creating opportunities. As Kleinanzeiger, because that's what we're talking about today, all those numbers you see behind me, that's unique numbers in the monthly basis. So we are kind of big. We have over 700 million visits. We have 36 million unique users on a monthly basis. Just to give you a rough idea, actually, that's half of the German population online. So, of course, it's not half of the German population because we take out all the ones that cannot go online. So that's a bit less people, but that's still kind of big. And they are all there to trade with over 50 million lives that are live ads at the same time. So if you look something, or if you're looking for something, there is really high chances that you can find it at Kleinanzeigen. And support e-commerce, support a greener future. We are kind of green, so let's go for it. As Kleinanzeiger, what I'm mentioning right now is the C2C part, private person to private person. That's what you probably all know in your private life, but that's not all we are about. So one part would be the private one, but we also have Kleinanzeiger für Immobilienprofi. So that's our real estate part of Kleinanzeigen. We do have over approximately 15 million people, visitors that are coming on a monthly basis, looking for a new flat or home to sell, to buy, to rent, and that also powered with real estate professionals or real estate agents, like over 10,000 in Germany. So that's also we are a big player in this context. And the second B2B area we are active in is with Kleinanzeigen Pro. So for professional users, with a big focus on creating opportunities for SMB. So as you might know, SMB are the biggest part of the fuel of the German economy, I would say, and what we aim with this product is also to create opportunity for SMBs.
So the context of our collaboration was the main topic, let's say, was how to go from a brand email charter to a group email charter. So let's say from a Kleinanzeigen graphic charter to a Devinta graphic charter.
Exactly, and that for the following reason. What I've been walking you through right now is the environment we are in, that we are not alone as a Kleinanzeiger on the German market, but we do have, let's say, brother and sister companies in other countries that are facing really similar challenge to ours. So each country does, of course, have their specificities, and that's something we're going to talk about a bit later. But fundamentally, there is a core work, a core problematic we're trying to resolve, actually. And this is why we came to the conclusion that we need to avoid redundancy in the work that the colleagues are doing, because we are the German CRM team, so, but there is also a French CRM team, there is a CRM team in Netherlands, and so on and so on. So we need to try to find a way to increase the efficiencies at this level and make sure we make more out of it. What you see here is classically two brands trying to resolve similar challenge, but with a really different email branding. So different brands, different email branding. And that's where we found a potential for improvement, this delta of things you could really work on to improve your processes. First of all, this lack of coherence within the group in terms of branding means that we have a multiplication of the processes. There is, I wouldn't say that the one is doing better than the other. Different processes have different advantages. Nonetheless, it reduced the chance to increase the efficiencies. And the same thing for the tools and for the contract, which of course goes hand in hand also with potential savings through this fragmented activities at the moment. So, how it started last year. Going a bit back in time, 2023, we got the French colleagues from Le Bon Coin that redesigned their email charter with Dartagnen. So, as Thomas was showing earlier, you could really see that it was this kind of drag and drop with this different block. Basically, if you understand how to build stuff with Lego, it's more or less the same. And we realized that at the Vinta point of view, we could, starting from this base, actually develop further elements to have a group charter. So this is the work with, so it might sound a bit simple and an easy way, but you can imagine, and happy to go in the discussion after, this also goes with a bit of challenge. And going from this point, we declined it further to a Kleinanzeigen charter. So what we name it with charter is really like creating a template constituent of all different elements that we would need in order to be able to cover all different email communications that we will have in the future, or at least are having at the moment. So, coming from this observation, we realize that we do have a need to increase the synergies, and that's why we started to collaborate with Dartagnen, and needed to have the support of Dartagnen to work on the improvement of this template for the German market. So, of course, we get a template that is fitting for the whole group, but we had a need of further consultancies, and that's where we had really tight collaboration with the team of Dartagnen supporting us in this process to make sure, on one side, the template is fitting to our need, but also to support the change management. Because this was also one of the biggest challenges, make sure the adoption of this new tool is also fully embraced internally, because it's kind of easy to go one step and say, yeah, but actually we used to do it in a different way. It's still quicker if I change it, if I do create my own HTML. So that's something when we really needed to work on and the real usage of this new toolbox.
Before using Dartagnen, you were in full delegation, right?
Exactly. So
okay.
Maybe taking even 2 steps back before starting using Dartagnen, all we used to work at Kleinanzeigen is that we had one email template. And when I say template, it's of course not just a newsletter, but really a full declination of all content pods that we might use for our communication. In a big HTML file, and then we kind of pick what we need. Of course, there is a lot of things that are reused from week to week, let's say, and I would assume you all subscribe to our weekly newsletter to get the strongest content of what you can buy and sell on Kleinanzeigen. If you don't hesitate to. But you would see that from the form, in terms of HTML, it doesn't change a lot from week to week. So we did have those things that were pretty good in place, I would say, but additionally to this, each time we needed to have something new coming on top, we were working really closely together with agencies, which of course goes with a certain cost for a high quality, but if we needed to reinvent something, we also had different ways of working, but we will deep dive in it in a few seconds, I would say. So the point I wanted to go to here is to say that basically we do have different brands now after the implementation of the Dartagnen template. But as you can see in here, we have one email branding. And what is meant with that is that if you take a deeper look at it, you will see, for example, that we do have the same CTA. The colors are just the same. The colors are on brand, that for sure. But it's the same, basically. Same thing for the content part below. This is here the same as well. But the core identity of our brand, which is extremely important to us, because this is what makes us recognizable. it stays the same so that we do have this consistency within the group, which is bringing quite a bit of advantages with it, but we keep being on brand. So coming to the advantages of this, being more aligned in terms of chart enable us to share way quicker best practices. I would assume that doesn't matter what company you're working for, maybe within the group you're part of, your exchanges best practices. Maybe you're joining CRM roundtables and listening to input from other companies and saying, oh, that's a great idea, I'm gonna come home in the office and implement it on Monday. Yeah, in theory you could, but in the practicity, actually, just translating it to the template you're using, to your own environment. This is also something that is taking time. So having a good idea is step one, but implementing it is step two, and this step two might take some time. So I guess I'm not the only one with a big backlog of great ideas that could change the world in my backlog, actually. And what it helps in there is to capitalize on this best practice, to help us as a group within Adevinta to share quicker, to speak the same language, and I'm just not speaking about English, German, and French, but really we are testing the same thing, we are implementing, iterating on the same thing. So this sharing of experience is made way easier now. And of course, we shortly touch upon on it, but there is a huge improvement on the operational practices.
So now, the deploying of the new email graphic charter. Europe, I guess, Thomas?
Yep. Sorry. Thank you. So yeah, for the thank you. So the question was how to transition from brand email charter to a group email charter, obviously. And the second point was how to adapt email charter to the specifics of a market, as Elsa said. The thing is, we need to work with templates, but we need more flexibility. So the first point is, with Dartagnen, we build what we call modules, so bricks or bunch of bricks that can be customized and follow a certain chart. So, for instance, you have here an example. We have an Adevinta example. We can use it. We can copy it, translate it, and change the logo so we have the same ID, the same layout, but still we can save a lot of time. Elsa, maybe you have some points to add?
Yeah, sure. So at the end, with all those different models, we're coming to the situation when we are able to cover our need, and if necessary, we iterate with further content. So we iterate on the blog to adapt it to further needs.
Yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of example we can create, we can store them, we can evolve every of those modules pretty easily, which allow you to create basically, this is what I said at the beginning, you can create email within minutes. Basically, you just take existing bricks, you assemble them, and that's it. You have a ready-to-go email.
Exactly, and what you do see here actually would be a typical example of something which is in a kind of blank look and feel. So the Adevinta one, the one from the group, because Adevinta is no customer-facing brand at the end, and how it can be translated then for Kleinanzeigen with our own tone of voice and look and feel, so that we keep this aspect of being recognizable also from our end users. Having this base makes it also way more easy to share actually within the group, and it's obvious that what is Kleinanzeigen specific stays the most visible. So our lovely icons are there, the views, yeah. So the most strong our brand is, we stay in there.
Yeah. So we were talking about modules. Just to let you know, the goal is to have what we call a boilerplate. So means maybe between 20 and 30 modules, and then you will cover 100% of the the building of your email thanks to all those modules, what we could call framework as well. So this is really the way you're going to save a lot of time. And of course, you will be with those modules, you will be able to build hundreds and hundreds of email in minutes. The goal, of course, is to reuse each time the modules, each time the innovative modules, the modules with impact, so that you can have a good variation of your campaigns. And this is really important to stand out from competition and to stop borrowing emails in mailboxes. And thanks to the modules, you can avoid those.
That for sure, but additionally to this, I would also say even these modules enable us also to share it and to have more alignment within the company. So it's not only, because what we are saying right now is mainly marketing emails, but also for the different kinds to have more alignment without creating bottleneck.
Maybe you can start.
Yeah. So what you can see in there is a before after of Kleinanzeigen look and feel, and as you can see, it's still obvious that it's coming from Kleinanzeigen. So our core image to the end user. From user point of view, there is no discrepancy. And this is something which was really important for us. This was really something when we've been really scared about, okay, we need to make sure we stay recognizable and that this element is staying strong. So the brand identity is even reinforced as it is really declined all over in all communication point.
Yeah, so this redesign took place in 2 steps. The first one was the analysis and creation. Basically, we analyzed the existing emails and we try to tackle every specific issue you can encounter, let's say, when you translate email from, let's say, for example, French to German. You would understand. When you have CTA that works in French and you translate those in German, sometimes you have longer wording and you have to adapt the charter. So this is the type of example we will try to handle for the first step. The second step is once the email is created, even if Dartagnen will mostly automate the quality of your email, you will also need to analyze the quality of your email. I mean, it's mandatory. You have to check if everything is working properly. Why? Because I will give you the horror story of one of not our customer, but a brand I knew. They were sending email since many years with the same templates, and one day they've just discovered that people using Samsung phone were unable to click on CTA. So why your performance are so bad on Android devices? Because they cannot click, and they should have fixed that. It was just like 2 lines of code, and they should have fixed that within 3 minutes. But because they don't have tested, they don't practices tests. Sorry, they missed this opportunity. Whoops, we've missed a slide now. Okay, we've missed a slide. Anyway, there's also tests you need to process in. Sorry. There's also tests you need to process, in desktop devices, so mobile devices, but also desktop devices with email clients and different webmails. Obviously, you will need also to adapt to the different country you will target, because your country will have specific email client, like here in Germany with GMX and web.de. And on top of that, you have also to adapt to the worldwide number of email clients you will have. As Nico said at the beginning, if you combine everything, mobile, web client, application, and so on and so forth, you will have more than 12,000 combinations to test, which is a lot. And basically, this is something you can double if you want to take care of the dark mode, because there's more and more users of dark mode. I think the last stats on iPhone were something around 30% of users that will switch by default on dark mode. which is pretty important. And you will see some pretty annoying contrast issue with dark mode. So you will have to test that. So basically what I'm saying is you have to rely on a solution, Dartagnen or another one, obviously, but you have to rely on a solution that will make those first quality control for you. If you don't want to switch your LinkedIn resume as email tester, you have to rely on a working solution. Plus, yeah, and by the way, you will also have to be compliant with routers that will sometimes change the code, sometimes block some element on your email. So yeah, not a simple work. All right, let's take a look to how we can improve the process with Dartagnen. So as I will show you how to optimize and industrialize the process, how to optimize your costs, and how to optimize the such feared time to market. Asa?
So this sounds like a lot, actually. But finally, this is all of the same, I would say. But taking one step back to understand why I reiterate so much on the different kind of emails, I started saying that as Kleinanzeiger, we do not only have the private part of Kleinanzeiger, which is the one we are the most maybe in this room known for, but we do have a complex email landscape. So we have private and professional users, but we also have different kind of emails that we are sending to those users. So as well, the private one as the professional one. We do have on one side everything that is triggered. You buy something, let's say a push ad, you have your ads coming to the top, automatically you receive something, for example. We have the automated communication. You've been with us for over a year, so then we say, hey, happy anniversary, glad to have you aboard. Or last but not least, all the one-shot communication we are sending. You've probably heard about our Green Sunday, like the green alternative to Black Friday. And this is typically something that we are sending once, making a design for this occasion and when we need to communicate broadly about it. So those are different kind of communication we do have that are sent sometimes from different departments within Kleinanzeigen. So we might have some business unit taking care of something and that needs to be involved in the process of this one communication, and for the other one, another business unit. So the range of stakeholders we do have in there is actually pretty big. And having those different range of stakeholders, additionally to the fact that we are working with external agencies, and not just one external agency, but a few more actually, means that we do have a big need in alignment. And alignment might sometimes mean ping pong. So you send something for a sign off, oh yeah, but next round of alignment is needed, and so on and so on. So this is quite a lot of time, of energy also, because this might be a bit frustrating after a while when you've been working quite a long time of getting something out and you're still iterating on it to have it picture perfect. And of course, this is everything that is putting our time to market. How long do we need to put the campaign live between the moment when we do have the ID and the moment when we really get it live, so to say. So this is a process that used to be pretty heavy, pretty long, and pretty costly, as the two last elements, I would say, are kind of connected.
So, there was a before, there's a after.
Of course.
Okay, so very quickly, what the goal was really to cut all the processes that take so many times. So using Dartagnen or this kind of tool, once again, thanks to those to this boilerplate, to those blocks, to those modules, then this is the first way that will avoid having so many round trips with all the people involved in the building of an email. So yeah, very quickly, the KPIs are quite clear. You go from a process that takes between 3 or 4 weeks to build one email. This is the average we can see on the different markets. And the goal is really to design an email in a minute. So we have 3 days here on average, including the validation parts that you can't cut the validation part, of course. Less people involved as well, because everybody is already available in a tool. And then cost saving is important as well, of course, because you have a license model, you have maybe 1, 2, 3 users using the tool, and you can save a lot of cost.
So you could maybe ask yourself, what about the agencies? Because we have been mentioning quite a bit, we are not working only with internal people within the team, but we are externalizing a lot or working a lot with external partner. Does it mean we stop working with them? Of course not, of course not. We love our agencies and we are happy that we are able to continue to collaborate with them, but differently. Where we used to have also way more time and effort putting in the operational alignment between us internally and the agencies in working on those very operational methods, we do now have time and more resources also to have a stronger focus on strategy, on tackling greenfield we didn't have to at time too earlier, and working strongly on the conception.
Maybe we can have a first stop in this workshop. Do you have any question for Elsa or any other question?
Yes, thank you. You mentioned earlier that. Oh, sorry. That's fine. But maybe it's a question for you as well, because you mentioned earlier that it's possible to implement videos in the emails, and you tested this well for all possible email providers, because I think it might not run on every device. So you have a, I don't know, fallback image or something like this, or how do you work with this one?
Yeah. So thank you. So the idea is when we say we try to aim for compatibility with all email clients, the goal is mostly to preserve the brand perception for the customer. So obviously you cannot innovate if you just want to be stuck with Outlook 2010, which is not that great. You know that. So our goal is basically to maximize what you can do with each email client. So no, video is not compatible with everyone, but we do ensure that if you're not able to have the video player inside the email client directly, we do provide animated GIF. If your email client is not compatible with animated GIF, then we provide a static image, and everything is optimized for what your email client can do. What is interesting is most modern devices, like iPhones, basically can handle a lot of things. The Dior example is basically mint on iPhone devices. So, and what's interesting is iPhone users tend to have an average basket, an higher average basket. So you can try to focus on those users that have high-end devices and provide them high-end experience. Thank you. Other questions, maybe?
Hi, so I have a question for the client-side part. So you mentioned the redesign a couple of times, and I was wondering how does the design system come into play? Do you reuse already existing components from the library, or are they rebuilt? Because you mentioned also testing it on dark modes, but usually those should be in place in the existing design system that is used across different platforms.
So I guess I mentioned two kinds of redesign. So the first one I mentioned straight at the beginning of the presentation was our renaming and rebranding coming from I won't name it, Kleinanzeiger to Kleinanzeiger, which happened last year, and which was for us the first occasion to renew our look and feel. But the second redesign would be the one using Dartagnen. So we didn't had those two changes made at the same time. May 2023, we had the first redesign, while at the end of last year, we finalized the new templates. So this was going hand in hand. Nonetheless, the dark mode question actually is a really exciting one, because we also had a bit of back and forth on this one to make sure after the redesign in the dark mode we stay on brand, because that's something you have usually really little impact or control of, I would say. So how do we make sure we also stay recognizable also on the dark mode? So this was something that was core of the challenges we had. Does it answer your question? Thanks.
Other questions? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. That was very interesting so far. You talked a lot about the setup of the whole thing, and I was wondering if you are now in optimization or someone wants to optimize a module or whatever it is, who does it for all the countries? Is it Adevinta? Is there a nice CRM headquarter in Barcelona who you are working with, or how would that work now for you?
Maybe I can give I can give first word around that. I mean, on Dartagnen side, basically anyone can edit your modules. So you can do it yourself. Let's say you are a CRM manager, you're not a technical or design team, but you need to fix that little point that annoy you. Then you can go there and fix that by yourself. You can also call Dartagnen support. We will also do that for you. But you can also organize your team, and I guess you have a specific organization.
Yes, definitely. So we do have local and global responsibilities, I would say. So at the local level, let's assume it's not just assuming, we are A/B testing quite a lot and seeing what works best for us. And one of the best learning at the moment is, I would say, to be able, when we see for this specific target, after A/B test, we see this is the variation that we should keep. That's something that can be, first of all, roll out across several emails way quicker, but also shared with the rest of the group. So there is not some people in an ivory tower far away that are like rolling it out, but we are more in favor of a very collaborative approach when we are sharing those results on a regular basis within the group and making those elements also available. So it concretely means if the French team is testing something and this is a best practice, then within a few clicks we can enable the German team to have it available for test.
And maybe to re-loop with the dark mode question, one interesting thing is most of the time, even if obviously the dark mode issues are linked to the color you are using, it's also element sensitive. So let's say you have buttons with background colors, then we know that those elements will be sensitive to dark mode, then we will need extra care on those elements. What is interesting is, for instance, if Le Bon Coin, the French brand, encounter this issue with their color code, they can also try to fix that and share the information with the group. So this is also interesting because you can benefit from the R&D from the whole group, basically, and you avoid losing time. As I said at the beginning, if you done something once, or if your team done something once, you don't want to redo it and reinvent the wheel many weeks or months after that.
Any other question?
Thank you for the presentation, very interesting. I understand the use case for Kleinanzeigen because of it came from like a large group and you wanted to have the same look and feel between groups, but does it also work for a small company in a sense that one of the platforms that you showed already have the blocks, so like you can do that in the platform, so you don't need that. So I was wondering if there are also use case for small companies.
Yeah, thank you for your question. We show this example because it's the workload needed if you don't have tools like Dartagnen is tremendous. You cannot imagine that with team. It will be very complicated. We do have other use cases we can show you quickly. They are not small company, I would say, but they are smaller in terms of number of business units. And maybe you can show us some parts. Yeah.
Okay, but maybe to answer the question, you know, we work with global companies, but we work also with really small companies, because what's happening in small companies is that teams are really short, but they have to manage a large volume of emails as well. So as productivity is maybe one of the main issues that they have to tackle, it really makes sense to use a tool like Dartagnen. And we have many companies that with just one user, but yeah, it's really useful for in this case. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Two other use cases. One based on the productivity with Guerlain. Yeah. So Guerlain, maison from LVMH. Or house
So
in
not a
English,
small brand.
a small brand. Yeah. The context was quite complex for Guerlain, as the organization of Guerlain is one headquarter based in Paris, and they are present in 25 countries as well. And of course, a large volume of emails to build. But the main concern of Guerlain is really to have a consistency in the graphic chart. And what were happening before using a tool like Dartagnen is that each country were building their own email, and without having all the rules of the group.
Yeah, and I was saying that Dartagnen is really a simple tool based on drag and drop. This is also a productivity tip. The thing is, you have to find. I'm talking, and we are talking about Dartagnen, which seems normal, but you can use pretty much whatever tools fits to your technical abilities. The thing is, if you want to be sure that every country can create their own campaigns, you have to use a tool that is dead simple. And this is one of our main focus on Dartagnen. Is obviously we want to provide an high-end possibilities, but you want also a really simple interface. You also want an interface that allow you to work between the countries, so you can ask questions. I was mentioning the dark mode issue. So if you have dark mode issue, you can ask your colleague from other countries what and how they handle this issue. There's also features like live preview that allow, if you scan a QR code on Dartagnen, basically you can share the same screen on your smartphone from all over the world, which is pretty dope. And every of those features ensure that Guerlain, without having really high technical skills in terms of HTML, in terms of responsive or whatever, they just follow what the interface asks them, and they can create really high-end design like that. And this is created from Brazil to Japan, going to Switzerland, whatever. They all create the same type of quality emails. Oh yeah, sorry. And besides productivity, there's obviously innovation, which was our first point.
Yeah, last use case. We will talk about Club Med and Lacoste.
Two small brands.
Two small companies as well. But each of them are on 3 continents, We have about 20 users per brand, and we can classify, of course, those brands in the luxury vertical. And the challenges for those brands were to, of course, once again ensure a brand image coherence. Sorry, come back. But also to push the line in terms of design. Okay, once again to propose the best customer experience and to boost their KPIs. I was talking a few minutes ago about standing out from competition, about avoiding boring emails in mailboxes. Well, this is really the goal for this kind of brands. The example of Club Med, I like it because they had an issue actually, they were thinking about how we could reactivate people who came in Club Med for the first time. What we call the primo buyer. Okay, and then we worked together with Club Med and. We came with the idea that we could build an innovative email to try to reactivate those customers. So the example you have here, and I will come back here. As you can see, we stay within the email, and when you were receiving the email, then you could navigate within the email. So sorry, this is in French, but you had several choices. Okay, so if you want to go to under the tropics, yeah, it's the good one. So you can choose. Okay, let's go to the tropics, and then I like swimming, so sport activities. Okay, and then after answering those questions, then Club Med was proposing different resorts. You could choose. So innovation in email, navigation within an email, and so we do not have the figures, but Club Med was really happy with this kind of email. And in terms of brand image, it was really relevant.
Yeah. So innovation can go through many items. So obviously you have parcours like we saw just before with Club Med, but there's also some small elements you can implement, like video, slideshows, animated GIF. Even if it's old, it's still something that can be interesting and implemented in an interesting way. And over states, like you have in your website, when you hover some buttons, it will have some color changes. What I mean by that is there's some really simple elements, but you can bring those from the website, from your applications inside the email. You can try to keep the experience as interesting on the email as it's on the website. An example we have here is with the brand Lacoste. They are just innovating with animated GIF. They are combining basically two things. A really nice graphic design, really simple yet very strict in terms of margin, in terms of colors, in terms of code, and so on. And they have those kick-ass animations. There's plenty of those. It's something they use every day. And yeah, this is really one of our favorite brands in terms of communication, because it's simple and very efficient. So yeah, it's something to show that email can be way more interesting and not just a plain text and boring static images.
Maybe about innovation. Maybe one thing. Maybe it will be a question. Is it compatible on all web mails? The answer is no. Okay. But what is important, and this is the feature we have in the tool, but anyway, you have to see innovation like a customer experience plus. What does it mean? It means that even if you insert in your email one video that will be automatically read within the email, okay, if it's compatible at 60%, for instance, then you can set up some fallbacks. Okay. If the video is not accepted by the webmail, then you can propose a GIF, for instance, or a simple image, which means that for 100% of your customers, they will have a nice email from you, but 60% of them will have a customer experience plus plus. And this is really important to have this in mind about email marketing. So,
do you have any questions?
yeah, we just have finished the presentation. So if you have other questions, it's time to ask.
Even technical questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Just maybe one more question regarding the implementation, because I understood this is not a tool like a own send-out tool for emails, but it's possible to integrate it into existing tools. So for instance, I use Salesforce Marketing Cloud, so we have an add-on and I could use it inside the Marketing Cloud, or
Yeah, no, not this way. Basically, the goal of Dartagnen is to provide the same agency experience you have. So the agency will provide you a zip archive with a HTML file, a folder with all your images and so on. So basically, Dartagnen will generate the same thing. So this is the main way to work with Dartagnen, but you can also use the API and interact with the different routers. We do have some partners that develop those bridges, I will say, between Dartagnen and other softwares. So there's existing, I think there's one for, is it Salesforce?
One for Salesforce,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we do have
yes.
one for Salesforce that provide an interface and so on, but it's not our interface. It's just a connector between the two tools. Thank you. Any other questions? It's time to have some lunch. Okay, then. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
faces, only the rattle of bones. We got skeletons locked away, you and me. Drink with me, share wine, sit with me and break bread. The time has come now to make amends. I say, hey brother, got a whole lot more than we bargained for, yeah. I say, hey brother, I go a
jedes einzelne Wort.
Immer mit der Mucke?
Nein, das ist die ein.
Das wäre so krass.
Kannst aber haben.
Das wäre geil auch.
Nee. Also so hört euch das Publikum. Wenn ihr das Mikrofon immer schön nah am...
Ja, das ging nicht. Müsst ihr denn irgendwas drücken, während wir sprechen? Oder diese machen?
Überhaupt nicht.
Kann ich es einmal ausprobieren? Gibt ja keine Rückkopplung.
Also ich spreche jetzt so laut und angenehm wie immer und deswegen verstehst du mich echt gut.
Wichtig, bitte bitten dran zu denken, dem Publikum zu sagen, dass wir haben hier das Kissen geklaut.
Ach so, dass man das nicht einfach hier abwickelt.
Ja, das wollte ich sagen, genau. Das Publikum, die Receiver einfach in der Hand zu behalten, weil einige schon vorgekommen sind, die Jacke drüber werfen, die Tasche und dann gab es Probleme mit Infrarotsignal. Außerdem hat es den Vorteil, wir können die Lautstärke regeln. Also, das wäre schön, wenn ihr daran denkt. Und jetzt guckt mal.